Well, you guys have seen me change out floor pans on a Volkswagen before, so I'm gonna whiz right through this video. So, click like if you like it. If you don't like it, then, click you don't like it. I'm fine with that too, because that's feedback. Subscribe, check out my other channels at the same time, and watch this video.
Guess what, idiot? What you did today?
Right behind me, back over here, we've got a Volkswagen Thing pan. I believe it's from a 1974, and we're going to be replacing the floors on it. Over here I have a couple pieces of green metal. These are Karmann Ghia floors. They're the same on the Volkswagen Thing as on a Karmann Ghia. I believe the difference from the factory, the only thing was the Thing floors were a little bit thicker. But otherwise they're the same pieces. These are the green metal ones, which you probably will know come from KlassicFab, or Gerson, who I believe is on the other side of Florida. I'm on the Panhandle, and I believe he's on the East Coast somewhere. I forget exactly where, but I'll update it in the notes. But we've got to put those floors onto this pan. This pan, first thing we need to do, of course, is strip all the accessories off of it that don't need to be here. So I got to pull off the shifter, the seat belts. These are what holds the heater tubes in a Thing, because they don't have heater channels like a Beetle or a Karmann Ghia does. I believe this is also part of the heat, so this needs to come off. I got to remove the pedal cluster, the shifter, if I didn't already say that. I got to cut the rear brake line out. It's already cut anyway due to rust through, but I'll cut it off completely so it's out of the way. And we'll take all these parts and we'll throw them into a box, and then we'll start cutting on the floor pan and getting the old pieces out of the way. That Ghia that you see over there, that thing suffered something similar from one of its previous owners. They did much the same thing to the floor with straps holding those seats in. The floors were gone. The floors on there have been fixed since, but here we are on this one. Gonna remove all that nonsense crap, cut that out. I also have to save the battery ground strap, so probably, I bet will rip out of the floor if I pull on it a little more. Well, anyway, I'll cut that out as well, throw that into the box of goodies. But here we are, we're gonna start sawing and get these pans removed. Alright, so we got the floors cut out of there. That's looking pretty good. We ran into one problem over here on the other side. The tunnel's got a hole in it, so I'll have to cut out the rot that's in here and make a new piece to fix that. Otherwise, I just used the Sawzall on it because there wasn't a whole lot left to cut. The floors are mostly gone, so I just had to cut a couple spots out to remove what you see. The axle beam reinforcements that are here on the right and the left, those apparently do weld to the floor. Being that I hadn't restored a Thing pan before, this is a little bit new to me. So I'll have to remove this little piece of floor that's welded onto that reinforcement and weld the new floor down to it. So that shouldn't be too big of a deal. I'm not even going to remove them from where they're at. If anything, they'll help me to hold the floor pan in place while I weld it together. So there we go. Alright, I rolled the floor pan up around the front, and I started using my old impact hammer with chisel to chip off all of the old floor pan where it was held on by all the welds that you see here. So I've chipped the floor pan off completely on this side and going around the other side here. I hate when this thing leaks. I'm going to have to replace the end on this. Alright, I've got this floor pan go ahead and dropped in. I'm starting to tack it into a couple spots. I got to do a little more grinding of the rust that's on there. Just get it off. It's just, I've been hitting the clean spots, but I need to do a lot better than what's there. I'm not satisfied with that. So I'm going to continue to burn that rust off of there, and then I'm going to weld this pan in the rest of the way. This one seems to be going in pretty easily. After burning through the rust on the floor pan, it was rather interesting to discover the Hecho in Mexico little logo that's there on the pan just below the VIN number. I did know that the Volkswagen Thing was made for the Mexican market, but I did not realize that they were actually all made in Mexico, so this is kind of interesting. Got the welds in. They're roughly spaced about an inch and a half apart, wrapped the whole way around. The pan looks kind of shiny right now because what I did was I threw some phosphoric acid on it. You guys might know it as phospho or something similar to that. But the idea is here that it will etch the bare metal, eat up all of the rust that's exposed, and any of the bare metal would turn white, so it'll be etched. It'll be like it's got a surface on it that won't rust anymore. It's also a good primer, if you will, for paint to stick to. So I usually do that to everything that I'm treating. But I think we're pretty good to go. It looks good to me. Some of my welds are a little sloppy, but they're plenty strong. For some reason, I just had a lot of trouble with the welder this time around. It is a Harbor Freight welder. It is about 10 years old, so I guess I probably shouldn't expect too much out of it. You notice I got the cover off of it because I've done a lot of repairs to this thing over the years, and it's starting to really show its age. But anyway, back to this. Hopefully, it won't rain anymore. It's been doing a whole lot of raining for almost 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'm going to start hitting the other side over here. I'm going to fix that hole that you see. And then we're going to drop the floor in here and get that welded in. And I should have etched this side too, but hell with it. I don't care enough, I'm tired. And that's what happens when you get tired. I should have gotten a little video of me lifting the floor pan up. Yes, it's something I do on my own. It is pretty damn heavy, I gotta admit, but for a big guy like me, it's not too awfully bad. A lot of people said I was going to shit my guts out during lifting it, but no, I didn't hurt myself, we're good. But I resumed cutting out the tunnel, and if you remember correctly, there was a really big rust hole along the bottom lip of the tunnel, so I cut it all out completely. It's about 18 inches, 2 feet long, somewhere in there. Then I made a new piece for it, and then I went ahead and welded it on in. I got lucky enough that the sun came out here, but what I did was fill in the hole here in the floor pan. It was about 18 inches or so. Got that straightened out. Just use a piece of box steel, which is laying over here. I cut out the size piece that I needed from that. Made that work. It was nice heavy gauge, so holy shit, that was loud. Got that filled in there, and now it's time to drop in the other floor pan. Alright, and there it is. Floor pans are welded in on both sides. The reason why it looks a little bit shiny is because I just wiped it down with a damp rag. I soaked the entire tunnel with phosphoric acid in particular, because what it does is it eats the rust and it etches the bare metal, which gives you a good surface for painting over. So once that dries thoroughly, then I should be able to throw a coat of paint on here. Otherwise, I'm quite pleased with what we've got going on. So I went and got a coat of paint on the chassis, particularly the pans. It's looking pretty good. It is shiny. And this is just the first coat. I'm going to put on at least 1 or 2 more. I still have to do the seam sealing, but it's looking pretty good. I'm quite satisfied with this. Okay, we got the bottom painted. There's 2 coats on the pan. And then on the top side, we also put 2 coats over there. That looks to be good. So I think we're golden. We're going to knock this thing over, and then I'm just going to look at it more closely and see if I missed any spots. Chances are along the bottom rim here I missed a bit because it's so close to the ground. So we're going to have a closer look and hit it real quick if we have to. So I called the owners on in to pick it up. They are the Browns, Jeff and Stacy. They are a father-son duo. They hang around with the local Volkswagen clubs. Really cool guys. They already have 1 Volkswagen Thing at least. This is their second one. They wanted a project next to the other one. First one, I should say, is pristine. It's just perfect. It's orange. Of course, it's a convertible, and it's all decked out with all kinds of custom lights and stuff. It's a really cool car. This one is going to be their project. There's a great possibility, due to the amount of body rot in the middle of it, that we're going to cut it down and shorten it into a mini thing. We'll wind up using whatever parts that we cut off of it to do the repairs to put the rest of it back together. They'll have to determine that. I think it can be saved, but if there's an opportunity to build something really neat, cool, and unique, due to the fact that nature has destroyed the car and made it a little more difficult to put it back in its original shape, then I think this is a good time to do it. So just waiting for them to find out, and if that's the case, then it comes on back and we're going to have another video.